What is up, everyone? Today's guest is Jake Hospital Wilson. He is the Ivy League legend, the pickleball paramedic, Wilson Wellness, the pickleball prognosis, the court caretaker, Jake Recovery Wilson. He is Samford's pickleball ace. It's a pleasure to have you on the episode, man.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. With that kind of intro, man, I got to shout out Tyler, my EMT from that night, and Nurse Olivia. Really all the props to them.
Hey, shout out Tyler and Olivia. And we'll get into that story in a sec, but I met you at NCPA. It was a national championship in San Diego. You were representing and still are Samford University in Alabama. Just tell us about kind of your origin story.
Shoot, man. I used to play college tennis. That was my kind of thing. And then once I realized, that part of my life wasn't going to work out at the previous school I was at, transferred to Samford, had a walk-on spot there for tennis. Coaches changed over, and then I was like, I got to compete. I got to do something. So then I got introduced to pickleball about 2 years ago, man. And, the rest is history. Ended up, traveling out to San Diego as a little Alabama boy. So that's how she wrote it.
Dude, that's incredible. I mean, if viewers, listeners haven't seen this guy play, he's absolutely lights out on the court. Singles, doubles, mixed doubles, wherever you're watching him, he's going to put on a show. Going back to Jake Hospital Wilson, that's a new kind of nickname coined. Tell us, how did you get the nickname?
Shoot, man. That's the question I've gotten from all my fraternity brothers and all my friends that watch y'all's broadcast. So we get there for NCPAs, and it's the day before the tournament, and it gets like 11 o'clock at night. My team's staying in an Airbnb, and I probably get some of the worst stomach pains I've ever had in my life. Get sick, all that, couldn't move even. So we had to call the EMTs. They took me to the hospital. Me and my doubles partner, Jackson Tate, we stayed in the hospital till 5 a.m. and then got back to our Airbnb at like 5:30. We were gonna skip our pool play matches and just play the knockouts. But I woke up and Jackson was still asleep on the couch, but I said, hey, bro, 7 o'clock, let's go play pickle. So that's how she wrote it.
Wow. And then talk about the recovery. So you were in the hospital till 5. They hooked you up with a little IV, maybe some pain meds. But then what was it like playing one with just that much of a lack of sleep? And then you're still probably battling some sort of pain.
Yeah, man. It was hard. Thankfully, I'm glad we didn't have singles that first day.
Sure.
It was just going fluids. Fluids. Didn't eat a lot, but, in my head, I was like, we traveled all this way. I've been waiting for this tournament. I didn't come here just to sit it out, especially, trying to put Samford on the map. It's not an easy thing to do, so.
No, and you definitely did put Samford on the map. And even UVA gave Samford a little shout out prior to the tournament, where we were asking David, like, hey, who are you looking at that might kind of dethrone you guys, if you will? And he had Samford as one of those teams. So you were already maybe on the map to people that knew. You're definitely on the map that people that didn't know before. And speaking of David, that NCPA, you guys must have played like 3 or 4 times that weekend, including an incredible singles match that you were down 0-7 in. When you were down 0-7, you ended up winning that match. What were you thinking?
Shoot, man. Singles was kind of a blur for me, honestly. We started off against Kennesaw in knockouts. Win my first game of that match. Jackson loses the second one. I get down 10-7 to Chase. Match points, save that match point. Head into GCU. Won my first game against Artur 11-0. Jackson loses the second one. I get down 10-8 in that third game. So going into that match against David, I was like, you know what, man, what's one more time? So that was kind of my mindset. And also everyone's watching, the last thing you want to do. I think Ryler said it, but like, kid's getting embarrassed. And I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing that. So that was my mentality through that one.
Dude, incredible stuff. A lot of resolve there. And even before that match, you were telling me that, like, did you roll your ankle or have some like leg problems prior to that match? Because you were even struggling walking up those steps to get onto that court.
I think just physical exhaustion. Going into that day, I'd probably had 5 hours of sleep between the travel day, then the hospital, and then to play all those game 3s, it just physically was tiring, and I hadn't eaten much, obviously. So not like an injury or anything, just I was like, this short little body can't go for much longer.
And I hear you, man. So going back to Samford Pickleball, at least at the time of the NCPA tournament, you guys had 8 members total. What's the direction that Samford goes from here, especially with more recognition on the college circuit?
Trying to expand our competitive team. I think that's where our true focus is, because at a school with 5,000, we could build a social club, but with the level and the respect that we've already gained on the national circuit, I think our direction is competitiveness. All our people want to win, and I think that's evident from what we saw at NCPAs or up in Indiana. So we're going to try to get a more robust roster going that we can bring. If you look at those UVAs or those Utah Tech people, they've got 4 or 5 O's that they didn't even bring to this tournament. And so that's what we want. My normal partner is in law school and he couldn't come this week. And again, shout out Jackson. That guy works so hard, but we want to be able to pull from, a good roster when we need it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you're building that roster, how do you guys do that with a relatively smaller school? You're a small club right now. How do you build it up?
I think what we're going to do is kind of what we did to get the people that we already had. We're going to farm that tennis team hard. I know that. I talked to Christiana, who was on Samford's tennis team, and I said, hey, Christiana, any of those seniors that are staying at Samford to get their masters, we need them on the pickleball court, like ASAP. So she's working on that. We have some of the guys that are interested, and also farming out to the fraternities. I mean, every guy that picks up a pickleball paddle thinks that they are the best pickleball player ever until they step on the court. But it brings out that competitive nature, and kids want to get good at it. So just finding those guys that can fall in love with it.
Oh, fantastic. And again, going back to David, we had like a kind of a little Instagram exchange. I put a video up. That's kind of where you were coined Hospital Wilson. But he said, hey, next time we got to be on the same side of the court. Is that possible?
I love David. I mean, talk about a stand-up guy and player. I would love to share the court with him someday. I mean, you talk about a winner. I mean, if you watched him at Duper last year, I mean, points on Schick and a dream breaker. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And, like you said in the broadcast, me and him have some history with junior tennis. And I think it would be a great full circle moment to share the court with him. We'd have to fight over who plays the left, though.
That would be awesome. I'd definitely pay to watch that. What do you do outside of the court?
I'm heavily involved with my fraternity. I really do love it, especially at Samford. Our fraternities are very Christ-centered, very faith-based, and it's created a group of guys that I can really lean on. So I give back to that whenever I can. But other than that, man, everything else is pickleball related. I have a little sister that's 15 that lives close to me, so I go see her when I can. Got to be a good big brother, but trying to get her on the pickleball court.
That's the move. My sister is on the court. She loves it. She said she just signed up for a class. She lives in San Francisco. So I saw her. She signed up for a league a little while ago, maybe a year or so ago. And it seems like she's back. She signed up for another league or a class. So I'm hyped.
Yeah,
it was good to form another mixed doubles partner.
It is, man. A little Wilson team. I'm home dog sitting in the house while they're on spring break. And I saw a little pink pickleball sitting around. And I was like, I didn't get this text message. When did this happen?
So she is on the courts already.
She's getting there. We're getting her there. It's going to happen this summer. That's my goal.
Awesome. Lastly, before I get you out of here, what are your future pickleball plans? Are you playing any upcoming tournaments? Is there a push to pro? Are you going to stick on the college scene? What can we expect from Jake Wilson going forward?
Shoot, man. I mean, I want the top. And I mean, I think I can do it. I have faith in myself. I will be at APPs up in Cincinnati. That's the one that's definitely on the list. I think Samford Pickleball is going to the Auburn Duper Regional. To hopefully get our national qualifying spot. But yeah, man, I mean, I want to take this thing all the way, and there's no better time to do it than right now. Samford has been very generous with trying to help us. We need it. Well, obviously, we need a little bit more if we want to really get the UVA, Utah Tech kind of push. But yeah, man, I mean, I want to take this thing all the way.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll plug the socials right here. This is Jake Wilson, everyone, pickleball player from Samford University.